The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "The kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were sensible. The foolish ones did take their lamps, but they brought no oil, whereas the sensible ones took flasks of oil as well as their lamps. The bridegroom was late, and they all grew drowsy and fell asleep. But at midnight there was a cry, 'The bridegroom is here, go out and meet him.' At this, all those bridesmaids woke up, trimmed their lamps, and the foolish ones said to the sensible ones, 'Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out.' But they replied, 'There may not be enough for us and for you. You had better go to those who sell it and buy some for yourselves.' They had gone off to buy it when the bridegroom arrived. Those who were ready went in with him to the wedding hall, and the door was closed. The other bridesmaids arrived later. 'Lord, Lord,' they said, 'open the door for us.' But he replied, 'I tell you solemnly, I do not know you. So stay awake, because you do not know either the day or the hour.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
What makes us wise or foolish is whether or not we are ready when the bridegroom comes, when the bridegroom arrives. Whether or not we have enough oil in our lamps when the bridegroom arrives. And this is the parable, one of the most popular parables in the Gospel of Matthew, the parable of the 10 virgins. And what makes also their foolishness or their wisdom is symbolized by the lamps that they are carrying. The lamps of the foolish has just enough oil to keep it going for that moment. But the lamps of the wise has oil and also has some extra oil for the future. The oil that would last for a long time, for a longer time. The oil that can sustain the light for a longer period of time. And that is what makes the difference. And I just want to talk about 2 things from this parable. The first thing is that the foolish symbolize those people who depend on the now. They think very little about the future. It doesn't really matter what the future holds for them, insofar as they have what they need now. It is about the now. Nothing about the life everlasting, nothing about the relationship with God, nothing about what would become of their life tomorrow. It is about the now. If we can have enough, if we can enjoy, if we have the light now, that is enough. And unfortunately, many people are taking this path of foolishness that nobody thinks about. Why is it that other people are receiving Holy Communion and I can't receive? People don't care a lot about that. It's very unfortunate that people don't care about going for confession or keeping their sacramental lives going. People think less about the life that is to come. Everybody wants to invest and have it now. Everybody wants to have enough now. It doesn't really matter what becomes of the life later on. the life that is everlasting, the life that has no limit, the life that God has promised to those who are faithful to Him. And this is what happens when we depend on the now, when we depend on the material things that we find in this world, when we depend about the temporal happiness that we have in this world, and we forget about the life that is going to be brought by the bridegroom. We forget that we might sleep and we wake up and the bridegroom is there. And that is distinguished from the life of the wise, that it is not only about this life, they look more into the future. What does the future hold for us? If I live this kind of life now, where is this taking me? And if it is taking me towards the wrong path, I better change that path. This is the extra oil that they take with them. They invest not only in this life, but in the life to come. They take the extra oil of faith, of struggling with their Christian life. They take an extra oil of reading their scriptures while others are having fun. They take an extra oil of praying the rosary when others are on their Facebook or their TikTok and other things. They take an extra oil of having a prayer time, of going for adoration, spending an hour with Jesus in the Eucharist, rather than doing other things that are not helpful. And that is the extra oil they carry with them, because they are investing in the next life. And secondly, is the fact that when the bridegroom comes, we can share our oil with others. The oil that you have is for you alone. I really admire at times when you meet people and they tell you, they introduce themselves in connection with the people they are related to. They say, I am the cousin of the Archbishop. I am the brother to this priest. I know the cousin of this person who is related to this person. It's true and it's good to be related to people who are famous, people who are holy, people who are known, people who are known to be good. But their goodness can never be transferred. We can never inherit it. You can never go to heaven because your brother was holy. I remember I was privileged to go to Fatima, and I was extra privileged to have met the last niece of Lucia, one of the children who received the vision. And one thing I noticed about that, at that time she was old. She died actually either the beginning of this year or the end of last year. And I went to visit her, and she couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Portuguese. And all she was doing, she was smiling, and she asked me gave me signs to bless her. And she had a rosary with her. Many people would flock into that place just to greet her. And whenever she saw the priest, she would want to kiss the hand of the priest. And one thing I noticed about her is that she knew she was getting a lot of attention, but she didn't depend on that. She knew she still had a life to live. And she spent the whole time praying the rosary. She could also spend the whole time just getting the fame and saying, I'm the niece of Lucia, come and see me and all that. But she spends most of her time praying the rosary because she knew it is not about the faith of Lucia that is going to save her. She has to have her own faith. She has to have her own oil. The oil that she has the oil of Lucia cannot be shared by every other person. So that is why salvation is personal. And it's about the personal relationship we have with Jesus. It is about the personal oil that you have made, the extra oil that you have. And that oil is good for you alone. It cannot be shared. That is why when the foolish virgins realized that the bridegroom had come, they turned to the wise ones and they said, give us some of your oil. They said, no. It is not good for us and for you. You must go to buy. And that already symbolizes lateness, unprepared, not being ready, not being awake. And this is what Jesus wants at the end of this gospel. He says, stay awake, for you know neither the day nor the hour. In other words, we must have the extra oil. We must keep our faith lit up. Our moral life must be there, must be lighted up at all times, because we do not know when the bridegroom is coming. And that is why we must take extra oil with us. We must take extra time in prayer. We must give extra time to keeping our sacramental lives going. We must give extra energy to our life of prayer, personal relationship with Jesus, of reading our scriptures, of knowing what Jesus wants of us, of attending Mass, participating in the sacraments, and doing that which we're supposed to do as Christians. And it is in doing all this that we could be sure that our light will continue to be lit even when the bridegroom